Hey, so 2022 was a great year for the gaming industry. I mean, we got God of War, Elden Ring, two amazing games. But 2023 looks like it can be even better. And before I start, I must mention I know I'm late, it's February, and I'm making a top 10 anticipated games. I know, I'm late, but I was a little busy, so I didn't have a lot of time to make this. Even though I'm late, my list didn't change that much, except for one game that I will talk about because it's still on the list. But that will come later when we're talking about the top 10. With some large titles revealed and coming, I thought it would be fun to make a top 10 games I'm personally very hyped for in 2023. Before going into the top 10, I want to make some honorable mentions and why they're not on the list. My first honorable mention is gonna be Hogwarts Legacy. For some of you, this is the number one hyped game of 2023, but not for me. But okay, I didn't watch the movies and I never really grew up with Harry Potter. I don't have the same excitement that everyone seems to have besides me. I haven't played the game yet, but from what I saw in the trailers, I'm not really excited for it. It just looks boring. The combat looks slow and choppy and I don't know, it's not my type of game. But if you're into the game, that's fine with me. I'm happy you can enjoy it. And my second honorable mention is Forspoken. I don't think this one is really controversial. From what I have seen, it's not really a good game. I haven't played it yet, so don't roast me. But I think the open world that it's going for is gonna be empty, and the story is gonna be really boring. So I'm not planning on playing it. I'm not planning on reviewing it. So I'm just gonna skip out of this one. So those were my honorable mentions. Let's get into the number 10 spot. Coming in the number 10 spot, we have Resident Evil 4 Remake. I've never played Resident Evil 4 because the only Resident Evil games I've played prior to this are 7 and 8. So I'm very interested in how this game compares to the other two. I mean, it's third person and it features whole different characters I have no prior knowledge of. It's number 10 because I don't really get scared by third person horror games, and the Resident Evil 4 is supposed to be a horror game. But I'm open for surprises and I can't wait to see how they're gonna scare me in a third-person camera angle.
Hide in plain sight. Never compromise the Brotherhood.
So my number 9 spot is Assassin's Creed Mirage, and I'm not a fan of the last few AC games, especially Valhalla and Odyssey, but this game seemingly is a way back to the older AC games, which I absolutely love. We finally got Assassins back in Assassin's Creed game, and the developers in a recent interview told that the game is inspired by Unity's parkour system and mission design. And if you have played Unity, you should know that the mission design and especially the parkour system is really good in that game. So I'm excited to see how they will integrate this into the Mirage system. And the setting of the game will be Baghdad, which makes me think back to the AC1 game, and it makes me nostalgic. So I'm waiting for the Assassin's Creed franchise to win my heart back, but it isn't higher up in the list because I'm still a little bit skeptical. 2022 having one of the best games in FromSoft history, the number 8 spot is going to Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon. So I was one of the people who didn't even know that Armored Core existed, and I did a little research. The older games look like they're fun, but they're really different than the previous game we got from FromSoftware. But everyone knows that FromSoft delivers quality, so Armored Core 6 is on this list on number 8. Number 7, Dead Island 2. The first Dead Island walked so Dying Light could run, parkour, and do some other crazy shit. With Dead Island having its first trailer, which included gameplay and looked familiar and of course reminded me of Dying Light, which in my opinion is the bad thing. I loved the first Dying Light, I was kind of disappointed with the second one, so I'm hoping that Dead Island 2 can scratch that itch I had for Dying Light 2. So the game I'm gonna talk about now is already released and most people have already played it except for me. But that doesn't ruin my excitement for Dead Space because it is on my number 6 spot and I have never played it before, and I'm really looking forward to playing the remaster or remake or whatever. The creature design looks very good and I'm interested into the story that I've heard so far. I'm hoping that this will be one of the few third-person horror games that will get me on edge. Now we're getting into the big guns, and damn, this was a hard decision because in the number 5 spot comes in Sons of the Forest. Oh boy, this game looks incredible. From the exploration to the crafting, everything looks just great. And I can't wait to get my hands on this game. I mean, just look at the digging mechanic of this game. When I saw that for the first time, I was glued to the screen just because how much detail there was in one animation. I mean, just look at it. From how the dirt falls off the shovel and how the dirt looks wet because it's raining. The only thing that looks a little bad is the gunplay, but that doesn't really matter to me. I'm just looking forward to playing this with my friends and getting the old forest feels back in my veins.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Me being a huge Star Wars fan, is hard to put this anything lower than the number 4 spot. With it having a new open world element and hopefully having Darth Revan, even though that's highly unlikely, I am beyond excited for this journey and where it will lead Cal. On the topic of Star Wars, who is excited for Mandalorian Season 3? Spoiler alert, I am. But I'm getting distracted, so next game. The next game makes me sad it's only number 3, but the other games are just too good to put it in any lower. So in the number 3 spot comes in Atomic Heart. I mean, it's not just for the plot, even though that's a little for the plot. It's mostly for the gameplay, because it just looks great. This game is a BioShock / Doom combination I didn't know I needed, but damn, I need this game right now and it's right around the corner. The art style that they were going for has paid off so incredibly well that I'm just shocked every time I'm looking at it. From the details of robots getting dense when you hit them and animation qualities I've never seen things like this before. And just to say, this game is made by a new company. It's also really fun to see that Mick Gordon is working on Atomic Heart, and it makes me really excited to hear the soundtrack of the game. The only thing I will say is please play this on sub, because the dubbed version makes this really bad.
Eller buz gibi, göt karpuz gibi amına koyayım.
Amına kodum tipini sikeyim!
It was tough for me to put either of these last 2 games on the number 2 spot, so I spin the wheel and Spider-Man 2 came up for this number 2 spot. I'm joking, I didn't really spin a wheel, but it's still a number 2 spot and it's a really exciting game for me. When I tell you that I'm excited for Spider-Man 2, it's an understatement. I love the first game, I love the remaster, and I also love the Miles Morales spin-off. So seeing Venom and hearing Kraven the Hunter in the only trailer we have made me like crazy. I can't wait to put this game into my PS5 and play it until my parents become worried for my sanity. And now we're up to the number 1 spot, and of course it is Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. With Breath of the Wild being one of the best games I've played, this game looks to be an improvement on the already incredible open world we got in the first game. I don't know how they will achieve it, but something inside me tells me that they will. With cave drawings showing what I think will be the goddess Hylia in a different form, this game will be a monster when it comes to expanding the lore and answering questions that Zelda fans had. So yeah, that was my top 10 most anticipated games of 2023. What was your list? Leave it in the comments, and I can't wait for these games to come out so I can share my thoughts here on this channel with all of you. But that's about it. I will see you next time.